The government will force companies building data centres to power their operations with renewable energy, regardless of any other support or incentives from the states and territories. Climate Change and Energy Minister Chris Bowen provided more details during an address at the National Press Club today. Climate reporter Romy Stevens was there. Romy, what did the minister have to say?
Well, Miriam, Chris Bowen made it clear today that the federal government will pursue ensuring that data centres use renewable energy and use all the powers that the government has to do that, regardless of support from the states and territories. Now, this comes as data centres across Australia come online at a rapid pace. We know that there are about 160 operational and more than 90 in the pipeline, but there are concerns around the significant amounts of energy and water that data centres consume. At the moment, they're using about 2% of Australia's electricity. Now, that's expected to increase to about 10% within the next 10 years. Now, the Energy Minister, Chris Bowen, today acknowledged these concerns during his address at the Press Club, but he also said that data centres can actually assist with the country's energy transition if they are to bring their own additional renewable energy projects online with them. But this ambition is facing headwinds. During a meeting with energy ministers last month, both Queensland and the Northern Territory rejected the federal government's plans to mandate data centres using renewable energy or bringing renewable energy projects online with them. Today, Chris Bowen saying that the government will pursue nationally consistent regulations around artificial intelligence, even if the states don't agree. Let's take a listen.
While I always prefer to work with my state and territory colleagues, the Commonwealth will not be standing by and letting a race to the bottom of states falling over themselves to attract data centres at the cost of household bills, reliability or emissions. We will use all the power available to the Commonwealth, including Commonwealth legislation, to ensure that Australian households and Australian energy reliability is put first, even if some states have different ideas.
And Romy, Chris Bowen also announced in that address more support for business owners to install solar panels on their roofs. Why is this being prioritised?
Yeah, so the Energy Minister spoke about how many Australians, when they fly into capital cities on an aeroplane, they might notice that there are a lot of rooftop solar panels across residential homes. However, there are also a large number of factories and warehouses that are devoid of solar panels. So there has been a really big focus over recent years to get households to install solar panels on their rooftops. But on the other hand, commercial and industrial buildings have been lagging behind in this space. The Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis found that Australia's residential solar capacity sits at about 22 gigawatts, but businesses have only installed 5.6 gigawatts. So lagging behind quite a bit there, and the federal government is now looking to address this. The Energy Minister Chris Bowen today announcing at the Press Club that it will expand the small-scale renewable energy scheme, which is essentially provides an incentive for the installation of rooftop solar. So that'll be expanded, or the eligibility, or the solar system size eligibility that was previously in place was about 100 kilowatts, and that'll now go to a much higher 1 megawatt. So the federal government is hopeful that this will slash the cost for businesses and farmers to install much larger systems by about 20%, and the government also anticipates that this will see their energy costs reduced as well. Miriam?
Climate reporter Romy Stevens bringing us the latest from Canberra.